got a request from a client to do an Alice in Wonderland inspired commission, which is so exciting. I love Alice in Wonderland, and it's one of those things that just has such distinct visual culture attached to it that you can kind of interpret it really broadly and people will still know what you mean. So she sent me 2 really distinct reference images. And basically the brief is, the more fluffy and ruffly, the more better. So we're making a dress and a matching petticoat. And I know that we want to stick with those kind of like classic Alice in Wonderland colors, the kind of bright blues with the black and white. I know that she wants to go with a little bit sort of like add in the navies and the more muted blue tones, which I personally, cornflower. Give me a cornflower blue any day. I love cornflower blue. So it's going to be enormous, very big, very fluffy. We've talked back and forth and kind of settled on a design, but I know the first thing that I have to do is build a structure that can not only, she wants it to be slightly corseted, so we not only need to build the structure of a corset in there, which will be really good because this skirt is going to be huge. So it will be good to have the corset so that she can stack the weight of the skirt onto the corset and not have it sitting on her hips, because oh boy, these reference images definitely are about like a confection of ruffles. It's ruffles on ruffles on ruffles. So I know we're going to do a very ruffly tiered skirt, and we need to make that skirt not collapse under its own weight as well, which will be an extra challenge for this commission. So I think we're going to start with getting the skirt made and the petticoat made so I can kind of see how big it's going to be and how much weight I need to engineer this top to hold. The heft of this is going to be probably the biggest engineering problem that we have to face. But I think we can do it. Yeah. That's really hot. It's really, I took a really big mouthful of that and it's really hot. We're making good progress on the base skirt and all the horsehair braid is added on. We pretty much just need to sew this boning on. So we're just gonna add that to this skirt. If this wasn't gonna have a huge amount of weight mounted on top of it, I actually think that just the horsehair braid would be enough. But because we're gonna add so many layers of frills and ruffles and essentially just putting so much weight of fabric straight back on top of this skirt, I think we're going to need to add in a little bit more boning to help it fight gravity. I've spent a little bit of time just thinking about what I want this petticoat to look like. I know what I want the bottom of it to look like. I want it to have this mix of textures and colors, well, colors, black and white, because for the design we're leaning into black and white and then shades of blue. So I want the petticoat to be this kind of like, I feel like petticoats can look really, really flat, especially because I know this is for a photo shoot. So I want to create something that has a lot of different sort of textures in it, so that in the photographs it kind of reads as something that's quite kind of thick and floofy and made up of all of this stuff. Like I want it to be a little meaty, you know? God, do I want to do circle or do I want to do rectangle? I'm second guessing everything. and working out how many of each fabric I need to get and how much we need to cut it into, and then cutting it using my rolled hem foot to hem all of the organza. Thank God tulle does not fray. So there's a combination of tulle, organza, there's lace, and now I have to add any appliques I want. So I basically want to add all of the stuff on top of the ruffles while they're flat, and then gather the edges. Once the edges are gathered, we should be able to just put it on the skirt and it should come together quite quickly. Here's hoping. But I need to figure out, okay, what's got lace, what looks balanced, where am I gonna add? I've got a whole bunch of velvet ribbon that I think will look really pretty. So all of that kind of thing. So I guess that's just what we do now. I'm just gonna, there's really no way to do it except just play around with it and just see what we like. I think I have a configuration that I'm happy with of all of the ruffles and the organza and the tulle and everything. So I think now I just have to put all the appliques on, gather everything, and hopefully if I get that done tonight, I can move on to attaching it all to the skirt tomorrow. That'd be so exciting. Oh, I love it when a plan works. I have a tabletop absolutely overflowing with ruffles, and now I just need to start adding them onto this bad boy. Today's just going to be a long day of laying everything out, pinning it all in place, taking it to the machine, stitching all the way around the hem, and then doing it over and over and over again. I think I worked out I have something like 20 layers of ruffles that I need to add, and that's not including some of the roses and little bits and bobs I'm going to sew on as well. So I have a long day, a day might be optimistic. I have a long 2 days realistically ahead of me, but then the skirt will be done and it's so exciting. I'm ready for the skirt to be done. Not only because I've been ruffling for about a week, but because I need to see this all together. The preparing all of the pieces in parts and then having to wait to kind of like get any payoff is, I find that the hardest way to work, because I get motivated by, you know, adding something onto a garment and go, oh, that looks so good, and then I get to add the next thing on, and then I get a little, you know, I get my little dopamine payoff every time I add something on. So this has just been a lot of prep work and not as much dopamine payoff. But I'm hoping that today I am about to be rewarded for my patience. Big time. So I'm really excited. skirt is finally done. It has been a few days of just, oh, she's so big. Sewing ruffles. It is absolutely enormous. I feel like the camera is just not picking up on like how big this skirt feels to sit next to. Now that the skirt is done, all that's left is the bodice and some little finishing touches, some closures at the back. I think I'm gonna have to put in, because she is, woof, she is hefty. So I think I'm gonna have to put in a couple kind of hooks and bars to aid, even though it's gonna be kind of like a corset lace up back. I think I'm gonna have to put in a couple hooks and bars to like aid doing this up, just to help hold up the weight of the skirt while she's kind of like getting laced into this. So the sun's just come out. It's been so sunny, and then the sun's just come out from behind the clouds. It's been so sunny recently, and then late last night the clouds came over right at sunset, and today has been quite a dreary rainy day, which is kind of nice. I'm a rain person, so I like the rain. Today we have to do pattern make a bodice, because we have about 3 days left that I can work on this before I have to send it off, so let's do it. had a couple of chronic sick days where I was just kind of unable to move around much or get out of bed, so I did a little bit of work off camera just on finishing up the bodice and sort of like details on the skirt. So I still have my lining, my strength lining, everything ready to go. That's what I'm about to do, is attach this and the bodice together. These have slowly building up all of the little details that are on this, the little neck piece at the back and the little rose and all the sort of ribbons and stuff. This is now, I mean the whole thing, this skirt included, the whole thing is now getting to a point where it is so unwieldy, it's very difficult to feed through my machine. So I think I'm going to have to attach the skirt by hand to my strength layer, which is a little bit of a daunting task, but I think we can do it. But first, because once that skirt is on there, it is going to be very hard to work with. I put a lining into the lace, just, it's not that itchy, but I was worried it would be a little bit too itchy against the skin, so I put a very lightweight, soft mesh lining into that, so hopefully that'll help with that. And I think it's pretty much just attaching my bodice and lining and then attaching the skirt together, putting in my eyelets for the back lacing, and we are so close to done. Hopefully this will be ready to send. I don't know if it will be ready to send tomorrow, but it will be ready to send by Monday, which is very exciting. And also the deadline for this is coming up, so I do need to get it out of here. We're not in panic crunch time yet, but if we are, oh, my voice is still going. If we wait too much longer, then we will be. So this is, at first I was getting really worried, but this is just so sweet. It's so cute. I think I want to put a little ruffle at the end of the sleeve. It's just so cute. It's hard not to. A little ruffle at the end of the sleeve, and I think that might be it. Hopefully get very, very close to finishing this all up today. I'm very excited. I'm very nervous, but I'm very excited.